Toastmasters guests, Mr. Toastmaster, what would you give to be able to have tremendous relationships in your life? What would it mean to you to be able to really have agreements that are meaningful, Brian? How would your communications change, Rob, if you were able to really connect with someone? I had an instance just a few weeks ago that really changed my life from a personal standpoint. And I was able to do something that took years to that point to get to. And that's a relationship with my daughter. And I knew it had been strained, but I didn't know exactly what that situation was. And so what we did is we simply communicated. And because she had been really not responsive, but this one time we communicated. And we communicated in a way that we really got to know each other in a different way. Uncovered different things that were hurts, different things that there were disappointments and expectations were not met. We communicated, see. And then what happened was, as we kept on talking, we were able to come to a point where we had agreements. An agreement that we can establish a sense of honesty, a sense of presence, a sense of authenticity. We came to that agreement together. And from that transformation, that communications, that agreement, we came to a situation that our relationships improved. It improved over that 3-hour plus talk that we had on the phone. It improved at a point that it shifted my life, and I think forever. Our relationships. This is the new car that we have in our lives. It's called communications, it's called agreements, it's called relationships, because relationships are important. Not just with us as individuals, but here's what happens. It carries over into the business world. It carries over in everyday life when we transact with others, when we communicate with others, when we really shake hands with others and do business. This is the new car. Communications, agreements, relationships that all of you can step into. Let me make this a little more graphic. Because as we started this company with the foundational car, it shifted forever my life. It'll shift forever the relationships that we have in business. And I really hope that it shifts the world in a different perspective. But let me just share with you exactly how people do agreements. And you'll see it in a fashion that perhaps is in a way comical, but you see, we learned how to do agreements by happenstance, by accident, by actually watching movies. And so we created our company, InfoStar International, as an investments company so that we can reach out. But here's a little background as to how agreements are made. And this is a little scenario in the back. Let me do the volume. The volume. Let me give a background on this. Wartime, World War II, Americans, Germans, Nazis. But in this particular situation, it's a snippet from Kelly's Heroes, where the Americans, kind of independent economic entrepreneurs, find out that behind enemy lines is a bank that has $16 million And standing between them and the bank is a German tank. And try as they might to be able to get around them, you can't do it because that tank is powerful, big guns. So listen to this as they come up with a solution. Come on. Right. We call this let me do this, because I know the dialogue. I'll just say the dialogue. Sergeant comes up to him and says, "We've got a problem here. We can't get to the tank." And the guy says, "Do a deal." And he says, "What are you talking about?" "What do you mean, do a deal?" And he says, "A deal. That's what you gotta do, is make a deal." And go back in there and make an agreement. And the guy says, "What are you talking about?" "Okay, let's go do that." He says, "Yeah, do something that'll work." Let's pick this up in another situation. I'll ad-lib because I think you'll find it more interesting when I ad-lib this. It's not, the dialogue is not as important as the emotions that go through here. So they say, all right, let's go make this deal. Negotiators, takes two people to negotiate. The essence of this is that it takes the Americans to work with the Nazis, the Germans, to be able to come to some sort of deal. And they incorporate the three things. They go out and communicate with them. Now, if you can imagine this, the three negotiators for the American side go out there with their machine guns and they face the German tank head on. Now, the German tank had no reason to be able to even talk to them because they're pointing the guns at them and could have just as easily blown them away. Communications happens in person, face to face, when you want to put a deal together. We call it agreements. So the German gets out of his tank and wants to know what exactly the Americans want to do. And as the Americans come up to them, says, "We would like you to talk to us. We have a deal for you." And he says, "Well, we don't do a deal. You guys are Americans, we're Germans, we're at war, we don't do deals." He says, "Well, this is a little bit different. We, the Americans, as entrepreneurs, our American army is coming shortly. It'll wipe you out anyhow. But we're ahead, not as American soldiers, but as entrepreneurs. Here's the deal." The guy says, German says, "What's the deal?" He takes a cigarette out and he says, "Behind that bank that you're protecting is $16 million. Let me translate that. That's 54 million francs. And the guy says, "And here's what we could do. What we could do is split that money with you. We'll let you in. This is agreement now. We're communicating. Now we're doing, here's the deal. Here's the agreement. We would bring you in, split that money, and all you have to do is turn that gun around and blast that door of the bank." And in this scene, That's exactly what happens. It goes up. A relationship was established. That's a temporary relationship. It's a money transaction, but it's car, the new car. You communicate, even though there's guns pointing at each other. You come to a deal, we call it agreements, and you have a temporary relationship. Now, they're not going to like each other afterwards, but it's a relationship. That's what we're talking about doing in our organization when we do business and deals with companies. You see, our company has a foundation of the car, where we in the middle drive that car. And we do it in a way that we connect with our clients and we connect with our providers. We drive the car in two directions. We communicate with them, we come to agreements, and we develop a relationship that it's not short-term like the Germans and the Americans. This is a forever relationship, because here's what we're able to do is the agreements have multiple spokes. Technology, advertising, marketing, resources, and capital. Multiple spokes. Well, we call it bridging it so that in essence we're able to continue the relationships. The communications are almost established. The agreements are established, and we have strong relationships that we can grow our company further to a point that we can extend with processes, and we can do it in a way that we have plans, models, and go forward. This one is Jerry's game. This is how people do agreements today. The music behind is irrelevant, but the video will explain how people do agreements today in relationships. This is Jerry out in the park playing chess that you loved him. And you'll notice the communications, notice the agreement, and notice the relationship. Sets up the chess set. We're ready to play. This is the moment. Let's get started. This is war. Americans against the Germans. That's how we're taught. Because we watch the movies. And because forever we've always played chess. There's only one winner you see in chess. But in this case, Jerry has just himself. So he makes a move. And of course his opponent is his alter self. Makes a move. Bear with Jerry. He's a little geriatric. He's playing a game. But this is a game winner takes all. Ponders. What's the strategy? And in chess terminology, you probably know that it's called gambits. Gambits are ploys, lies, cheats, deceit, win at all costs. Hey, that's what we learn. We learn from movies, we learn from videos, we learn from chess. Make another move. Ah. You think you can do that? So make a move. I got you. Make another move. I got you even then. Make another move. I got you. Desperate. Last piece. Desperation sets in. We got him cornered. Can you tell who's the bully? Can you tell who's the victim? Victim. He's stressed. Heart attack. Keeling over. Oh my gosh. Can't be. I mean, it's only a game. We're not playing to die, are we? Check my pulse. lies, cheats, deceits, gambits. We win at all costs. That's how we're taught. This is, after all, chess. Well, what are you talking about? Huh. Make your move. My move? I got you. Chessmate. Checkmate. It's game's over. One wins, one loses. How did he do that? How did that happen? And why would he do that? I'm done. Now you gotta pay up. I win, you pay up. Pay up. Give me all you have. And he takes all that he has. Jerry's game. Did you notice the victim? And you notice the bully. That's how we're taught to do agreements. How do we shift this? We do a different way of agreements. And we do it in a way that with our organization we provide solutions. We really are neither victims or bullies. We're really adults. And here's what I ask you to consider, and that is to incorporate CAR in your life. But here's the caveat. You're real good already at communications, Joseph. I don't know you that well, but I believe you are. And if I look over Rob, you're probably real good at relationships. I don't know you real well, but probably. But Peggy, the thing that's missing is that everybody is mediocre to poor in making agreements. I just showed you how Jerry does it. I'll ask you to look inside of you if you do that too. Because unless you know how to make better agreements, you'll continue to have poor relationships. When you shift to a better method of doing agreements, as our company is doing that, personally and in business life, we shift the world totally, forever. Mr. Joseph.